Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 30th of April. I have a migraine this morning. It woke me up at least 4 times last night. So I am going to drink my body weight in water. Hope it goes away, but I think it's weather related and not hydration related. So we'll see how it goes. Clue 2 has been sent out. I don't know how much I'm going to be recording if I have a migraine today. It might just be pictures for the rest of this, and it might be very short. Unless this migraine goes away. We'll see. Maybe I'll check in with you later. We'll see. Hey, it is a little after 10 in the morning. I am feeling so much better than this morning. I still have a little, my migraine is hanging out. So it doesn't hurt right this minute, but I can still feel the pressure there. And this morning it was here, and this afternoon it's here. I'm feeling really good right now, but I anticipate feeling awful this afternoon because we're supposed to get rain again. Um, it's cloudy right now, but no rain. But as that rain comes in and the pressure changes, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have another migraine tonight. But I'm feeling pretty good right now. Um, I took it really, really easy on myself. I haven't picked up around the house at all this morning, which is normally what I do. I normally drop off the kids and then knock out whatever I need to do around the house um, within the first hour that I'm home. And then, you know, I set a timer for an hour and pick up and do chores and all of that. And then you know, I have a little bit of time before work, so I usually knit then. Today I didn't do any chores because I just wanted to be easy on myself because I definitely have to go to work. I mean, if I called in, they wouldn't, think it was the end of the world, but I am not a person who calls in sick. I have called in sick twice ever since I started working. Um, One of those times was because I was in labor with Gabriel, so I had to call in because with him I worked all the way up to 2 days before I had him. I called off the 2 nights before he was born because the first night something was, I was in labor and I felt off. So I was like, I can't do it today. And then the second night, I actually went into the hospital to have him. So I called off that night. And then my only other day calling in sick was um, Gabriel got bit on the face by a moth. I probably talked about it on the podcast. It was Labor Day weekend when he was in kindergarten. He's in fourth grade now, so 5 years ago, Labor Day weekend. We spent one night in the hospital and it was horrible. And I called off on my job because I worked evenings at Kroger and no way was I going to leave my child in the hospital by himself or have his dad and sister stay instead because Mara was, like 3 years old, a little tiny terror. No way. So I don't call in. I have worked through, hundreds of migraines at this point, I'm sure. So it's fine. But I am feeling great, and it is not supposed to rain until child pickup time from school, so I am going to walk to school today to do my shift there. It's about 40, 42 degrees, so a little chilly, but I'll be fine. I will maybe wear some fingerless mitts, definitely wear a shawl, and then once I'm moving, I warm up pretty quickly. It's not very windy or anything outside, so I really, really, really like to walk. It's a thing that I like to do, like as a human. Living in this house, I walked to school every day of upper elementary and middle school and high school. So, like fourth and fifth grade, I think fourth grade through 12th grade, I walked to school every day um, unless the weather was really, really, really terrible. I mean, like you step outside and you get soaked by the rain. I've walked through so many rainstorms, but like the bitter cold, terrible rain. Sometimes my mom would pick me up from school. Then she would have to leave work to come get me, and my mom worked right around the corner. So like this is our block. Our house is here. My mom's work was here. So sometimes she would go to work at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And if the weather was really bad, she would come pick us up and drop us off at school, be gone for work the length of a cigarette break, essentially. So she would take her cigarette break to take us to school. But mostly we walked. So I just really like walking. And I didn't even have my license to drive until I was 27. So there was a lot of walking to run errands, to go places. In college, I walked everywhere. So I'm a walker. I like to walk. I'm going to walk today while I'm feeling good because I anticipate not feeling good later. It's all like um, it keeps my migraine is hiding, but it keeps like sending out feelers, like just little headache feelers, just to be like, just in case you forgot I was here, I'm actually still here. So, while I've talked to you, I've had a little headache come and leave. Um, but it's not too bad. And as long as I make sure that I wear my sunglasses, even though it's overcast, and probably take a Motrin, I should be fine for walking and working. I'm going to take my purple sock with me to work on while I'm walking, and I'm fairly certain, even though the nervous panicky part of me is like, take another project, take another project. I'm fairly certain I'm not going to finish the sock during work because even though I'll be gone from my house for like 3 hours or something, three and a half, I will be working during that time. So I'm I'm pretty sure I'm just going to take the sock. But right now, while I still have about 15 minutes before I have to head out, I think I'm going to pull out my daughter's sweater and work on that. Just got home from my walk and just greeted me. She was very enthusiastic. So this is my progress that I made on the purple sock. So this is where I was this morning when I woke up. This is what I did before I went to work. So that was mostly done in the parent drop-off line and at red lights on the way to school. We left like 3 minutes later than we normally do, and I think it made the whole drop-off thing like 12 minutes longer. So then this was the first walk, and this is what I did at lunch, and this was my walk home. I am into the gussets on the socks. On this sock, totally gonna finish it by tonight. Totally. And now I'm gonna go downstairs because my boyfriend is awake. He literally walked in this morning, fell down on the bed and passed out. So we didn't watch Game of Thrones before I went to work. So I'm gonna go see if he wants to finish it now before I have to go pick up kids. Otherwise, we'll finish it tomorrow. And if he doesn't want a Game of Thrones, I might take myself to the library. So we'll see how my evening goes. Evening. It's not evening. It's 1:45 in the afternoon. We'll see how my early afternoon goes. Hey everyone, it is 8:20 in the nighttime and the kids are in bed, but not sleeping like they should be. I am getting ready for my very own bedtime. And by bedtime, I mean not sleeping because I went to sleep pretty much right after I stopped recording last night. You know, when I said I'd be up for an hour or two. And then I had the migraine. It hasn't started raining here yet, so my evening migraine hasn't come. I don't know if it's going to. I still have some pressure, but not the horrible pain. I managed to finish the uphill downhill socks and the um, purple vanilla, no, purple Rose City roller sock that I was working on. I started working on Mara's sweater, but I have this much yarn, and this much yarn weighs the same as this much of the sweater. I measured this around Mara, and this right here is 1/3 of the total circumference that I need for the top of the skirt. So I'm probably halfway through the skirt, so I would be able to finish the skirt, but not the, what is this? The chest yoke of the sweater. So I'm not going to push to finish that. I have not worked on day 2 of the mystery knit along. I might do that before I go to bed. At least get the first section started. And I haven't worked at all on the trough shawl cowl. Update about things that happened today. We planted a tree last year because our dog died pretty suddenly. So our pit, he was really sweet. I'm actually gonna put in a little video of him with Molly, our coonhound mix.
Oh, hi. What are you doing? Are you going to knit? What do you think? Yeah? Knitting?
He had an aneurysm and it was very traumatic for the children. So we planted a tree in our front yard and it survived the winter, which is really, really exciting because I didn't do anything to protect the little tree from the weather. Yeah, so yay, it's growing leaves, and I think that I am going to try to take a picture of it every day, barring rain. I'm not going to stand outside in the pouring rain and take a picture of the little buds, but I'm going to, as frequently as possible, I'm going to take a picture of the tree so you can see it waking up for spring with me. I really enjoy watching the trees around us regain their foliage for the spring. So it will be fun to see our little baby, I think it's an apple tree, grow its leaves. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 98% sure that it's an apple tree because Lenny really liked to eat apples. Never failed. If someone had an apple core that they left unattended, or it didn't even have to be a core, if there was an apple that had some of it missing, that apple would be stolen by the pit and he would go off and eat it. We watched Game of Thrones. I am caught up. I actually binged the entirety of what are we on? Season 7. So the entirety of season 6 over the weekend. So I could start season 7 um, on on Sunday, um, so that I would be caught up for the episode that came out on Sunday night. So, caught up. I'm not going to talk about it because I hate when people spoil things. Um, my afternoon was spent picking up children, per usual, but then I waited in the school parking lot until my nephew got out of detention an hour after school got out. Normally, there's no bus system for the school, so normally I get to the school about anywhere from a half hour to an hour before dismissal, or sometimes I just don't even leave the school parking lot after I finish working, which is 2 hours before dismissal, depending on, um, honestly, depending on how much gas is in my tank at the time, because I don't necessarily want to fill my gas tank all the time, and the weather. But today I knew I was going to be picking up my nephew from detention, so I opted to not even leave my house until dismissal time so that I would be toward the back of the parent pickup line, and getting through the line that way is pretty quick. However, getting out of the parking lot at that point is kind of a hassle, which is why I usually opt to be there early, because the school is on the main connector from one side of the town to the other side. So sometimes you just can't get out of the parking lot. And the closer you are to the front of the line, the faster you're going to be able to get out of the parking lot. However, I picked up 3 of the kids and then we parked in the parking lot, and I grabbed a hot and ready pizza on my way to go pick them up. So we sat in the parking lot, we ate pizza in the parking lot, we cleaned out my car because it is a thing that needed to be done, but it's just been so cold that I haven't done it. It wasn't that messy. I mean, it was pretty messy, but it wasn't too terribly bad. We only pulled half a bag of garbage out of the car. Um, yeah, my kids just like they drop papers and stuff on the floor, and it drives me crazy. But since I don't sit in the back with them, I don't think about cleaning it up all the time. Yeah, so that was our afternoon cleaning out my car. Yay! Now it's much cleaner than it was. I just have to take out my winter gear from my car so I can put in the summer gear, like folding chairs. I actually have 2 folding chairs because we went to soccer last weekend, but I have a wagon that we use to transport all of our stuff from the car to wherever we're going when we're going to parks and beaches. And we like to do events at area parks. Like there's a movie in the park several times a month during the summer. So sometimes you have to park all the way at the back of the parking lot to go watch the movie. So yeah, we have a wagon that helps tote our stuff. It's probably the best investment that I have made for a summer. Well, I didn't make it. My sister bought it for me, but that she has made for our summertime enjoyment. It was $60, but it has all terrain wheels and stuff. It's gone over grass and sand and concrete and gravel, and it just keeps going. It's gone through mud before. It's an excellent piece of equipment. So I want to get that in my car. transfer out the wintertime blankets for the summertime, like lay on the ground blankets, because the wintertime blankets I need to be warm. The summertime blankets I need to be thin material so that I don't have to take up a whole washer to wash a blanket when it gets something spilled on it. I'm sorry, I realized I went off on a little bit of a tangent about what I keep in my car for summer. And you don't necessarily care about all of that. I care about all of that, but you don't. Maybe. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know if I'm going to record podcast tomorrow or on Thursday. We will see how I feel when I wake up in the morning. I do have plans to go see Avengers Endgame tomorrow, so I really, in the morning time, need to figure out what I want to cast on to take to a 3-hour movie. Because it's 3 hours. The only works in progress I have right now are my daughter's sweater, which I can't do in the dark because it is connected double crochets. I can't remember what they're actually called. So it's a double crochet where instead of like wrapping the yarn around the hook, you stick the hook through a loop on the side of the previous stitch, pull up the middle loop, and then go into the next stitch across the bottom of the row and pull up a stitch there so that each stitch is literally like locked into the other one. And it also has slip stitches and single, half double, and double crochets through the back loop, through both loops. There's a lot going on in the pattern. I don't trust myself to work on it in the dark. So I can't take that one. The trough shawl, no, not shawl, cowl. I could work on the section that I'm in, but then I only have a few more rounds of that, and then it goes into a short row section. So again, I would have to count. I don't think I'm up for that. Spinning, I can't do that in the movie theater. And the chaotic neutral, which again, not a movie friendly project. So I don't know. I suppose I could cast on another vanilla sock. That's an option. I've been kind of eyeballing a ball of yarn for a sock anyway, so maybe that, but I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. Or maybe I'll look at the Northeasterly and see how difficult it is and if it's something that I could start, because I haven't started it at all. So I wouldn't be working on a side. I would just be working up. So maybe that's an option, depending on how complicated it is. I guess I could just start a handful of barn raising squares to take. That might be an idea because I can work on those in the dark. I just pin, I work those magic loops, so I just pin the corners, not pin, I put a stitch marker to designate the corners so that I know to make the increases, count there. That might be what I do. I might take barn raising squares because they're kind of something I want to work on anyway. I don't have to start a new project then. I just have to start, I think I have 5 needles for barn raising squares, so I could just get the first few rounds going so they're started and take those. I don't know if 5 barn raising squares would get me through 3 hours though. I wouldn't do the border in the theater because I do it in black yarn and I don't want to have to change yarn colors and stuff, so I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see tomorrow morning what the verdict is for what I'm taking to the movies, but I definitely don't want to not take knitting because I feel like feel like um, Endgame is going to not be the type of movie that I can just sit through. There are very few movies that I can just sit through and not do something. Now my brain's all a whirl. Also, the next knit along prompt for the ZK hasn't been posted. I don't know if there's going to be a May June one, but if there is, it hasn't been posted yet. So kind of holding off on starting projects until I know what it's going to be, so I can hopefully um, make things fit. I don't know. You'll see in the morning. And I will maybe post chaotic neutral image at the end of this if I work on it at all.